Hi,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so Dale, do you want to tell us what you do and who you help?
Sure. So that's right. I'm Dale Curtis in Washington, D.C. I'm a consultant providing custom content and communications outreach solutions to clients who are lobbyists or advocates and need help building their credibility and awareness in D.C.
Yeah, and tell everyone, why you decided to hire me. Like, why this crazy blonde woman from Canada?
Well, when I met Chala, it was at a conference just over a year ago. It was last August, 2019. Um, this was a sort of, a networking conference for business owners in the LGBTQ community. And I attended Chala's workshop on improving your elevator speech. And it was very timely because as part of this conference, there was an opportunity to sit with representatives of big corporations and do your elevator speech. And if they liked you, they would connect you to, potential buyers within those companies. So I remember, Chala, I was sitting there and you were talking about what most business owners do when they pitch and the mistakes that they made. And I was like, oh my God, that's me.
Say,
It
will
was
you
a
make me?
revelation.
But what were they?
Um, Being vague,
Uh,
giving a laundry list of things that you do, being tentative perhaps, and using a lot of tentative type language. Um, so, um, and as you know, Chala, at the time my business was in trouble. I'd had a couple of years of declining success in new business pitches, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And I'd gotten to the point last summer where I was looking at going into the red, and I was, seriously in fear and doubt about what I was going to do. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
was very
and
timely.
it was such a huge leap for you, right? I mean, a lot of people are feeling the way that you did then now because of COVID.
Yeah.
So what like give me your mindset around overcoming that fear of investing all that money when you had none.
Well, yeah, I was fearful of the financial commitment because again, I was looking at an immediate future of revenues going below expenses, and I just wasn't going to be able to do that for more than a couple of months. So I had to do something. Um, and my husband and I are like tightening our belts, and is this really the time to be thinking about making a big commitment and a big investment? But when you sort of change your mentality a little bit and put it in perspective, first of all, what Chala was suggesting I invest would be equivalent to about one client, gross revenues for 3 or 4 months, or net revenues of about a year. So if I can't get one new client out of this engagement with Chala, that would be pretty terrible. But if I did get one, it would pay for this, and it should unlock the door to more. So um, I put it on a credit card, and trusted that through that diligent application of these lessons that I've learned from you, that it would pay off, and it has.
Yeah, so tell me what happened within the first month.
So within a month, I had a prospect that I had been courting at that point for maybe 3 to 5 months over the course of last summer. And we would have a conversation, and I would talk about what I could do for them, and then like there would just be this silence, and there would be no follow-up. I managed to this client was coming to Washington to have lunch with a friend of mine who had made the introduction. So I got invited to lunch with them, and I used your script for the conversation after the elevator speech.
Right.
And honest to God, over the course of a 1 hour lunch, I went through that script, and at the end of the lunch, she said, "Sounds great, send me an agreement."
Woohoo!
And
Yeah.
I had never ever like closed a deal in one conversation.
Gotcha.
So this is now my largest client in terms of the retainer. And as I say, it paid for you. Um, the net the net profit to me paid for you.
That's awesome. So could we ask how big that contract was?
10,000 a month, 11,000 a month, close to
So it's
11,000 a month.
120,000 a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you were saying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Congratulations. And this is great because a lot of people, I give them the formula, but they are resistant to using it because when the stakes are high and you're in front of a decision maker, you get back to you dial it back to what you're used to, your comfort zone, because you don't want to lose this opportunity. What made you step out of that and try something new?
Well, again, it was partly like my back was up against the wall. I had to do something. Um, yeah, I had to make a change. What I was doing was not working. And, for a couple of years, I told myself, well, I just need to have, I just need to put more time into what I was doing.
Mhm.
And no matter how much more time I put into it, nothing was happening.
Right.
Um, and so knowing also, I feel like, well, I've got to give all my time to my clients first, and like marketing comes second. And one of the things that you help me reorient is like, if I've got more new clients coming in and new business coming in, I can always hire staff to help me. Um, but if I don't have new business coming in, I'm going to shrink and I'm going to die. So that sort of changes my perspective in terms of the importance of doing this business development outreach consistently. Plus, having the appointment with you, I'm the kind of person, Chala knows, who, if I have an appointment with you, I'm going to show up and I want to have something to say. So that accountability
Yeah.
that I had to come back to this meeting with this consultant that I've hired to help me, and I had to show that I'm making progress. It made me do the work.
That is amazing. So you hired me again after our contract was over, and tell people, first of all, why, and then also I want you to tell them about your success around the thing that you're doing every Monday now.
Yeah, okay. Um, so after, was it, I think it was a 12 month,
Yep.
the original scope was 12 months. Um, and in fact, I think there was a gap, Chala, like I let it lapse for a month or two,
Uh-huh.
thinking I had learned everything I needed to learn. And now I just need, again, I
Right.
just need to implement it now.
Yeah.
I can go implement this on my own. Um, and you know what happened for those 2 months? I just didn't follow through. It
Right.
was always like on the bottom of my pile and nagging me
Mm.
that it wasn't getting done. So I decided again to like suck it up and make the investment. And we're doing, these regular check-ins because they help keep me on track. And I think about the things that you've taught me like every day. They stick in my mind, and the importance of mindset. I'll come back to the Monday routine.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about the mindset.
Um, we all have these conversations in our heads with ourselves every day, and unfortunately, so much of it is negative and like tearing ourselves down. And so you helped me work on replacing those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Like we made the list of all the negative things and the fearful things in my mind about my pitch and replace those with positive. And so, for example, I always had great resistance about calling people,
Mhm.
and I don't want to bother them. They're busy.
Yeah.
Um, they're going to know I'm trying to sell them something, and they're going to want to get off the phone really fast. Um, I've got other more important things to do. Well, no. Um, Replacing that with the positive thought that actually like reconnecting with people and having a conversation about their problems and challenges is actually enjoyable, and
It's now turned around.
it's exciting. And again, it's the key to a lot of my dreams, right? To have more business coming in, have adequate income for me and my husband and our family. So it just changed my mindset a bit.
That's amazing.
And so now I have a habit. In fact, I do it on Fridays and Mondays, where
Great.
I reach out to people, and it doesn't have to be cold calls, people I don't know. There are so many people in my LinkedIn inbox even that I can go back to and say, we met at such and such. Can you spare 10 minutes for a phone call? I'm doing some research. Not I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm doing some research on the market and I'd be interested to hear your insights. People are usually like, sure.
Mhm.
And so doing that one-to-one outreach every week. And now, as we've talked about lately, I need to get back into the one-to-many, whether I'm doing emails or presentations, what have you. But that's the plan. And being willing to define a narrower niche, that was also sort of against your instinct, and I was always the kind of person who would say, well, I've got 20, 30 years of experience and I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And people's eyes just glaze over when you do that. But being willing to define it more narrowly,
Yeah.
suddenly like people can click with that. It's just amazing. And I've been prospecting in an industry sector that's sort of recession proof. I've talked to a lot of people in the rural broadband area. And with the pandemic, no one knew that was coming, but with the pandemic, everybody's doing school and work from home. So, and in rural areas, there's now all this government money for increased investments in those networks. So I'm talking to companies that can't keep up with their own growth.
Great.
And they need help because they have a lot at stake in protecting that government funding and that credibility with lawmakers in the future.
Amazing. I mean, you are such a success story. When I listen to you, Dale, when I see you, it's such a huge departure. But the big thing, the thing that defines successful people is when the going gets tough, the tough get going, like you pulled out that credit card and maybe your hand wasn't shaking like, that I could see, but inside you were shaking. But you did it. And you did it again just before COVID. Like you did it again. And look at your results now and look at who you've become. You've stepped into who you wanted to. You made the decision out of not where you were, because if you did, you wouldn't have ever spent that money, but you made it out of where you wanted to go. That's the difference. And that's why you are a model of a successful person and you're just going to keep growing. So thank you so much for your wisdom and for your time here. And feel free to stay or go, but thank you so much. And yeah, so if anybody wants to contact you, can they have your URL, your information?
Absolutely. The website is dalecurtiscommunications.com, or you can Google Dale Curtis, and I usually come up near the top of the Google results. And again, if anyone has any particular needs with content or communications efforts related to advocacy, public affairs, if you know anyone like that, feel free to send them my way and I'd be happy to chat with them and see how I might be able to help.
Thank you so much, Dale.
Pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you.